Hey guys, I'm Sam, and we're gonna figure out today what fits a Tesla Model 3. I know EVs are kind of getting popular. Some people love them, some people hate them. If you're watching this video, you've probably got a Model 3, so you love them. Personally, I think these cars look absolutely dope, especially when they're on bags and they're aired out with some cool wheels we'll go through in a minute. They look super, super cool, and it's just kind of a cool modern take on cars you just don't see very often. Anyways, we're talking about Model 3s today. If you need any wheels, tires, or suspension, swing on over to us, fitmentindustries.com, and what better place to learn what fits than someone called Fitment Industries. So, Colin, let's look at some cars here, okay? So car number one, we got a 2021 Tesla Model 3. So it is rocking some Inovia Titans. So this is the most conservative setup by far. It's got 18 by 8.5 plus 35s, really normal, kind of like a daily driver, I call it, setup. It's got stock suspension, but it does have some Nitto tires, 225 50s on there. So a little thick. Like, this is a good, like, if you're daily driving and want to increase your mileage, a good move, because the Inovias are actually lighter weight than the OEM wheels are on the Teslas. Fun fact there. So we have quite a few Tesla folks grabbing those Inovias. These Titans are painted white, and if you're watching this, the white Titans might be released, so you can get this cool setup soon. Overall, it's a really good looking car. Like I said, it's kind of that daily driver setup. It's nothing crazy. The fitment is good. It's not amazing because we're on OEM suspension, but as far as the wheel, or the tire, there's no poke coming out on this. That's a nice flush fitment, maybe a little sunken in, but like I said, it's good for everyday use, nothing too crazy. But let's get crazy. Okay, you ready, Colin? We're gonna go to car number two. I cut you off. Are you ready? All right, so I'm saying hey to our chatbot. If you go on our website, say hi to the chatbot. It gets lonely. Like, it just sits there all day. It just wants to talk to people. It says hey, literally the first thing. Say hi back, just talk with it. I have all these windows open. The chatbot is just like trying to get a hold of me. And hey, every single one. Hey, get out of there. Here he goes again. Get out of there. So this next car is a 2021 Tesla Model 3, no surprise there because we're talking about performance. This one is yeller, got old yellow here, and it's on some Kone countergrams, little big, 19 by 10 plus 25, so 19 is larger than the 18s we just looked at, and it is wider with a more aggressive offset. This car is on AirTech air suspension, and the tires are Yokohama Advan Apex V601s and 255s, 35s. Out of the three cars we look at today, I would say this is probably my favorite setup. When the car is fully aired out, the fronts, it's really flush, fender to lip fitment on the 19 by 10 plus 25s. And the rear, the camber arc, it looks like when you do air these Teslas out, is pretty drastic, so it actually tucks in the rear. I think it looks really good. The fact that these cars have no grille in the front, especially when they're aired out, they look really mean. Looks like he's got some eyelids on there. He does have some carbon fiber pieces to just make this thing stand out a little bit. So overall, like I said, this is gonna be my favorite fitment, the three we're gonna look at. And so if you want something that's practical, but you still can look cool with it, I think this is the way to go with the 19 by 10s plus 25. As far as any other mods go, he does have front fenders rolled, so they are rolled a little bit. It doesn't look super aggressive, so you will need that to get them to fit like he has on here. But overall, looks really good. There is a front wheel spacer of 7mm and a rear wheel spacer of 20mm. Forgot to mention those right away. So that does help bring those wheels out for that more flush fitment. So if you didn't have those, it'd be a little more conservative, but it's something you can absolutely get away with. All right, so here we got a 2021 Tesla Model 3 Performance, high performance vehicles only up here. So we got a staggered setup here on these WEDs. So in the front, we got a 20 by 9 plus 21, and in the rear, a 20 by 10 plus 30. On those wheels, we got some Hankook Ventus V12 Evos, along with suspension, we got some Airlift Performance air suspension. So real quick, this thing looks dope. I think the WEDs look absolutely killer. As far as the fitment goes, this is a little bit more aggressive with the 20s compared to the 19s we looked at before. They're not as wide, but with the staggered setup, the wider in the rear with a little bit less aggressive offset, it works really well. You still have that crazy camber arc it looks like when you do air these cars out. There are no spacers on this car. The only thing the owner did for modifications is remove the inner fender liners. That's because when you air out, you don't want to crack those, blow them up. It's hilarious when that happens. You see someone do it, but dig them out. Don't worry about it. So very tasteful here, it does have some side skirts on it, but overall impressions, the chrome looks really good with the white, and the fitment, because we're talking about what fits here, is really good. We're much closer to that fender to lip fitment without spacers on this size with the plus 21 than we were with the 19s. This is one that is a little more aggressive, and probably you have to pay a little more attention to what you're doing as far as when you're driving, if you're turning, make sure you're not rubbing or denting or cracking anything. But overall, with the Teslas, the Model 3, you're really gonna wanna run with like a 19 or 20, and you're sitting at probably about that plus 20-ish fitment. It's gonna depend on what your tolerance is for any rubbing or scrubbing, along with if you really want that super dope flush fitment, or you could have a tiny bit of poke if you're on coilovers. But with the air suspension everyone's running, it looks like everyone likes to suck it in a little bit, you know, tuck it in. But it looks really good. Overall, these cars are super, super cool. Like I said before, 19s or 20s are gonna be your friend. And as far as an offset goes, I do like about that plus 20. I think that would be what I'd recommend. If you didn't want to run spacers, if you want to throw a spacer on there, you could do like a 5 to 7 millimeter spacer and get that fitment just a little more perfect. Appreciate you guys watching. I'm Sam, wheels, tires, suspension, and we got it all. We got it all, baby. Fitmentindustries.com. Peace.